guys who have family members who have played in the NFL. And this is a really intriguing concept for the both of us. Really want to dig into how that can help players, but there's also probably a downside to that as well. We've got some of the names that we can throw up on the screen for you guys to see here. But Felder, as we start to look at some of these guys, Joey Porter Jr. is somebody who's gotten a lot of conversation around this draft. We just talked about Peter Skoronski in the last block. Everybody can read these names on here. What is the benefit to being a legacy player coming into the NFL?
I mean, you know what you're supposed to do, right? Like, you've been around it. Like, we can go all the way back to what, Larry Fitzgerald, where he was a ball boy for the Vikings, and like that's what got him ready to be one of the best NFL wide receivers of all time. Same thing happens in other sports as well. Dusty Baker's kid is now absolutely doing his thing, and when you look at this list, and keep the list up, but when you look at and there's levels, right? Joey Porter is the son of Joey Porter. Joey Porter's a legend for the Steelers. Pete Skoronski, his folks, his dad, his uncles all played in the league. You throw in, listen, if you get a chance to call up Reggie Wayne and ask him what you should be doing to get better at wide receiver coming out of South Alabama, like, you do that. B.J. Ojulari, his brother played, I believe, at Georgia, and now he's in the NFL. P.J. Mustipher's brother is in the NFL right now, and I think the coolest one for me is Viliami Fehoko, because people think he's related to the Fehokos that are one played at LSU, went to Texas Tech, but he's actually related to Vita Vea and to Vita Vea. And when you're related, like, you're in the process, and as someone, and I know, like, you've been there already, obviously, as someone who's been in the NFL. I'm someone who played with guys that got to go to the NFL. But at the end of the day, like, it's a wild world. It's tough seeds. It's a wild. Everything is interesting, and to have someone that can tell you, like, hey man, don't buy a house here, just get an apartment, or like, hey, train here, live in a hotel, or don't worry about this, or someone that can tell you which agent to pick. That's huge. And there's all these things. Everybody thinks it's about how good you are or how fast you run at the combine. But at the end of the day, there are all these other little things: how to study, how to work out, how to get all this done. I think it's just huge. Like, these guys are operating from a position of advantage.
Yeah, and I think about all the things that you just said right there in terms of the work habits and what it takes to be a successful player in the NFL. You can talk to as many of your friends as you can that are currently in the league. When I was coming out at Ohio State, had a bunch of my former teammates that were in the NFL, and they can try to tell you, but when you've seen that person, that role model, you grew up in the house, or they were a close relative of yours, and they told you every day the way that you needed to approach the game, you come in different. There is a different mentality that you have from every other rookie, and it's hard to replicate any other place. So these guys certainly have an advantage. Maybe they get some of the comparisons to whoever played in the league before them. That's always something to deal with. But just that knowledge that they'll have on the way in is so invaluable.